All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session. We have our Summer Company Program Info session for today presented by IDEA Mississauga. And before we get started, I'll be reading a land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge the lands which constitute the present-day City of Mississauga as being part of the treaty lands and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the Seneca and Attawandaron and wider Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat First Nation. We recognize these people, the Anishinaabe, the Ojibwe-Chippewa nations within the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and all other peoples who inhabited these lands since time immemorial. The City of Mississauga is home to First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. As a municipality, the City of Mississauga is actively working towards reconciliation by continuing to strengthen our relationship with Indigenous communities. We formally recognize the Anishinaabe origins of our name and continue to make Mississauga a safe space for all Indigenous peoples. And as mentioned before, we are IDEA Mississauga, and today's session is presented by IDEA. And just a bit more about us, we are your central source for small business information, resources, and guidance. Our services and programs are currently offered remotely, and our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. Our center offers free business information and guidance, webinars and workshops, resources and tools, training and mentorship programs, as well as entrepreneurship programs. So now a bit more about some of the programs that we offer. We have the business advisory services, which consist of legal services, accounting services, business operations, sales strategy services, digital marketing, as well as scale-up services. We have the My Main Street program, which supports new and existing small businesses in Mississauga's Clarkson, Cooksville, Malton, Port Credit, Streetsville, and the downtown core area Main Street communities. This program helps brick and mortar Main Street businesses to attract new and existing consumers. And if you'd like any information on each of the programs, I have attached a QR code to each slide, so feel free to scan the QR code and it will take you right to the webpage to learn more. And today's info session is on the Summer Company program, but I'll go over it super briefly. So this Summer Company program is for 15 to 29-year-old students. We offer free business training and mentorship to help you get your business up and running, as well as the opportunity for a grant of up to $3,000 to help you launch your summer business. And the Starter Company Plus program. So this program offers free training and business skills development, free mentorship and guidance, as well as the opportunity to apply for a program grant of up to $5,000. We also have the Digital Main Street program, and in this program, you get a free digital assessment of your business. We help to enhance your online business presence. We also provide free one-on-one guidance, resources, and recommendations on growing your business digitally. And we also help you to apply for a digital transformation grant of up to $2,500. This portal is currently open to apply for the grant, so if interested, do scan the QR code, and again, it will take you right to the webpage to learn more. And the Step Up program. So this program is a 4-month program that supports innovative and inclusive companies to grow and overcome barriers. This program consists of attending workshops, you connect with experienced mentors, and at the end of the program, you get to pitch your business to potential investors. A little bit more about our team. We are here to help you out. We have John Lam, who is our entrepreneurship and innovation specialist. There's me, I'm the communications coordinator. I handle general inquiries as well. We have Susan Lovelace and Nicole Barker, who are our small business consultants, and they will also be giving today's presentation. And then we also have Sahana, who is our Digital Main Street project coordinator, and she handles the digital marketing inquiries. Since you joined today's session, we also invite you to join our future sessions as well. And you can always see what we have coming up at ideamississauga.ca/events. We also encourage everyone to sign up for our e-newsletter. We send this out bi-weekly. You're the first to know about any upcoming programs and resources. And yep. And here are just a few ways to contact us. So you can contact us through email, idea@mississauga.ca. Our phone number is 905-615-4460. To learn more about our center, you can visit www.ideamississauga.ca. And we can also be found on social. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Idea Mississauga. Just a few housekeeping rules for today's session. So the audio and camera display is only available for speakers and panelists. The session today is being recorded, And we encourage registrants and participants to use the chat area to offer any comments or questions that you may have. Just a reminder to please put it to all panelists so that everyone is able to see your comment. And today's presentation and a feedback survey, as well as resources, will be emailed to all attendees. And now I will hand it off to our presenters. And like I mentioned before, we have Susan Lovelace and Nicole Barker, who are our small business consultants, and they will be presenting for today.
Thank you, Mona, and hello, everyone. So I will just give it a moment and then we will switch our slides. So let me just pull up today's presentation. All right, so how does that look, Mona? Does that look, are we good with that screen?
Yes, it looks great.
Perfect, thank you. So hello, everyone, and welcome to today's 2023 Summer Company Program Information Session. Mona, I'd like to thank you for that excellent introduction and for highlighting the different ways that we at IDEA Mississauga are here to support entrepreneurs. My name is Nicole Barker. I am a small business and entrepreneurship consultant with IDEA Mississauga. So every day I spend working with entrepreneurs and small businesses as they go through the different stages of development, whether it be exploring entrepreneurship, starting a new business, or growing an existing business. Also, I am the program coordinator for the 2023 intake of Summer Company, which we'll be talking about today. Joining me is Susan Lovelace. Susan is also a small business and entrepreneurship consultant. She has many years of experience of running different entrepreneurship programs as well as running her own business. So she has a wealth of knowledge and expertise in all areas of business development, and I thank her for being here with me today. So for today's session, we are going to provide an overview of Summer Company, including all the incredible benefits and opportunities to support young entrepreneurs who are looking to start a new business this summer. We'll also talk about the eligibility criteria, requirements for the program, and how to apply. Now, there are a few notes that I'd like to mention before we get started. First off, Summer Company is a provincial program that is run each summer by many different small business centers across Ontario. So much of the information that we provide today is common amongst all of them. However, they do each suit the program to best suit their local community needs. Therefore, please remember that when we discuss certain elements of the program, such as application deadlines, we are specifically speaking of the Summer Company program and those eligible for participating in Mississauga. We will be recording today's session so that it is posted on our website for future viewing. We ask everyone to stay on mute with their cameras off, but we do have the chat section, so please ask any questions throughout the chat. We've got plenty of time at the end of today's session where we will be able to go through those and answer all of your questions. And finally, today's session is really to provide an overview of Summer Company program for young entrepreneurs. So your attendance today or at any other future sessions does not guarantee that you are eligible or that you will be accepted into the program, but we're going to go over what that means as we go through this information session today. So everyone joining us today, or maybe watching one of our recordings at a later date, is here because somehow Summer Company has piqued your interest. Maybe it's because you're a student and you've always been curious about starting your own business and you want to know where to start. Or maybe it's because you know someone who you think would make an excellent entrepreneur. Could be a child, a grandchild, a relative of some sort. Maybe it's a student or a client or mentee that you've been working with. Or maybe it's a next door neighbor who you really think has something great to offer. Regardless of what brought you here today, you are interested in learning about the Summer Company and what the team at Mississauga, IDEA Mississauga, is here to support young entrepreneurs. So with today's agenda, we are going to be providing an overview of the Summer Company program, the benefits and requirements. We're going to talk about eligibility for applying and for participating in the program. We'll review the application process and walk through the necessary steps for applying. We'll talk about and highlight the valuable training and mentorship opportunities that are included as support in the program. We're also going to talk about what program completion involves with wrapping up at the end. Sue will be sharing some great success stories of our past alumni members. And we'll finish off with, like I said, some time to answer all the questions that you have. So please remember to enter them in the chat as we go along. So what is Summer Company? Well, just before I answer that, I want everyone to take a moment just to sort of think about what a business idea looks like to you. There's lots of different reasons as to why someone may want to start a business. There could be a problem or a need in the area, and they're looking to provide a solution. There could be a product or service that already exists, and maybe they've come up with a unique approach on how to offer it. Or, and this is one of my personal favorites, maybe they've got a really great skill or an interest and a hobby, and they want to turn that passion into a business. All those are great reasons for starting a business. And today we're going to talk about how Summer Company can take any of these reasons and support young entrepreneurs in starting their own summer business. The Summer Company is a young entrepreneur program offered, like I said, by many different small business support centers across Ontario to help students learn how to run a new summer business. The program, which has successfully been running for many years, is an initiative funded by the province of Ontario. Since 2021, over 9,400 students in Ontario have started a business through Summer Company, of which over 200 of them were right here in Mississauga. At Idea Mississauga, we offer Summer Company to those looking specifically to operate their business in Mississauga. So like I said, if you're planning to operate in another city, then much of the information today will be similar that we present. However, we strongly encourage you to check out the official Summer Company page on the Ministry of Ontario website or the Small Business Centres of Ontario website, which will show you which centre is offering the program in your area. So for example, the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre covers the city of Brampton. Toronto Enterprise Centre would cover Etobicoke and Toronto. Oakville, Milton, they would be applying to the Halton Regional Enterprise Centre. Regardless of which centre you participate in, there are some common elements that will be throughout. So there's free training in a variety of business skill development topics from subject matter experts. There's free mentorship to help support your individual journey in starting a new business. And there is the possibility for a grant up to $3,000 to assist with those important startup business costs. Overall, the main goal of Summer Company is to inspire youth to consider entrepreneurship as a viable career opportunity and to create jobs for them throughout the summer. Summer Company helps students 19 to 29 years of age in Ontario to start a new business, to learn transferable business skills, to make money, and even to become job creators. As I touched on a moment ago, here at Idea Mississauga, our Summer Company program provides training as well as both one-on-one group mentorship and one-on-one so that you can be able to connect and benefit from the experience of other professional business owners. Key topics that we will cover include general business operations, digital marketing, customer development, sales, bookkeeping, and so much more. And we're constantly looking and evolving our program to meet up and address the emerging needs of entrepreneurs. There will also be an opportunity to connect with your peers and other local business owners. Many of the things that you learn throughout the program this summer are great, not just for operating your business, but also it helps you in future education and future careers. Plus, some people like to say they get to be their own boss for the summer. So in Mississauga, Summer Company is broken down into 4 main phases. Phase 1 is completing an eligibility checklist as set by the ministry and creating your online screen profile, which we'll talk about a little bit further in the session. Phase 2 is the application process. This will include submitting an online application complete with a business plan and projected financials. Those moving forward will be selected to interview with our team. This will lead to the final selection of participants. And for Mississauga specifically, we have space in Summer Company this year for 10 participants. Phase 3 is the mentorship and training sessions. That's, I think, the whole bulk and the great part of the program. There's plenty of opportunities to connect with your peers and other entrepreneurs during this phase. And then in Phase 4, it's the program completion and an exit checklist tasks. So let's look at each of the different phases. Am I eligible to apply for Summer Company? It's a great question and what many of you may be wondering. Let's take a look at the eligibility criteria for both an applicant as well as for the proposed business. So there are certain requirements for an applicant as well as certain requirements for a business in order to be eligible for Summer Company. To be eligible for the program, all applicants must meet all of the following eligibility requirements. You must be 15 to 29 years of age as of April 30th, 2023. You must currently be attending high school, college, or university And you also must be planning to return to school in the fall after summer company has completed. You must be a resident of Ontario. You must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada. You must be proposing to start a new business this summer, which will operate in Mississauga. You need to be prepared to attend mandatory training sessions, mentorship sessions, and networking sessions. We will be providing a schedule with confirmed dates in advance of the program start date. This will be discussed during the interviews as well. And there's going to be a mixed delivery of both virtual and in-person sessions. It is not a hybrid program that we're offering this year, so you must be able to attend whether the sessions are in person at our new Square One offices or virtually online. You must not be working and committed to another job or attending school for more than 12 hours per week during the training and mentorship phase of the program. And this is because you must be able to commit a minimum number of hours to your new business. So summer company does account for the fact that there are different schedules depending on the stage of education that you're at. So for high school students who will be starting after their business, usually later in June after they've finished their exams, looking at a minimum of 280 hours over the summer. For post-secondary students, they tend to be able to start earlier because their exams are completed earlier. So they have more hours set at a minimum of 420 hours. To be eligible, you must not have received the summer company funding in the past. And another point that I always like to mention is that you must have adequate technology in order to participate in summer company. So what this means is because we're going to be offering virtual training sessions, you need to be able to actively participate in them at live time because they are not recorded. So you need to have your camera on at all times. You need to make sure you've got dependable internet, a webcam, speakers, microphone, be able to engage and speak throughout. There's also going to be times that we're sharing some files back and forth. So they typically are using the Microsoft suite, so either Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. So you need to be able to open, read, and send these types of documents. If you're using a Mac, that's completely fine. There tends to be applications where you can at least open and save these Microsoft documents, and then you can choose to create or edit them in a different application that best suits you. So that was talking about eligibility for the applicant. Now let's look at eligibility for the business. In order to be eligible for summer company, a business or proposed business must be a new business, not previously registered or operating on an ongoing basis. It must be a sole proprietorship or a corporation where the applicant will be the majority shareholder. It does have to be an independent business venture and one that operates at an arm's length from other family business ventures. The business must not rely on commission sales. The business must not be a multi-level marketing business, and it cannot be a not-for-profit organization. Continuing, if accepted into summer company, then the business must do the following. It must operate full-time with a minimum of 35 hours per week, as defined in the business plan, which will be submitted with your application. And these 35 hours per week, it can be on any business activity. So it can be on your marketing activities. It could be you at a local market doing sales. It could be building your website. It could be building your product if you're an artist, depending on what it is. It does have to have a master business license or articles of incorporation. And this can be done once you're accepted into the program. You do need to be able to maintain your own books and records, maintain your own business separate bank account for the business, and follow all government rules, regulations, applications, bylaws, and anything else that is needed for the business to legally run. And finally, and most importantly that we must say, is that the business must demonstrate a viable and sales-ready business plan at the time of acceptance into the program. So I just said a whole bunch of things about eligibility. If you're wondering if you're eligible to apply, then the first thing you're going to do is check your eligibility on the provincial program webpage, which is www.ontario.ca/summer-company. There's a series of questions that you will need to check off for your eligibility. And after you've completed all these questions, once you click on the Check My Availability, it will let you know if you're eligible to apply for the program. Once you're eligibility has been confirmed, you'll be able to continue by creating your own profile on their online portal, which is called Screen, which we're going to continue talking about Screen as we go through today's session. So before we move on, that is covering the eligibility. Like I said, this is all online. And also, if you have any questions about it, feel free to throw them in the chat and we will be answering them a little bit later as well. Sue, was there anything there that you wanted to add or clarify?
Not really. If they go through the list, so they know, if they're not eligible, they won't be able to go any further. So they'll know what their reason is.
Perfect, thank you. So next, how do I apply for Summer Company? Well, as Sue was just saying, if you go through the list, you've completed the eligibility, and then it shows that you are eligible and able to move on, then the next thing to ask yourself is, do you have a viable business idea? Is it something that you're confident or that you're passionate about and believe that others will be interested in what you have to offer? And then will the business be sales ready so that you can launch and operate your business this summer? Sales ready simply means, is your business going to be able to start right away and start making some money? So can you start working on those business activities that I mentioned a while ago? Can you start, whether it's building your website or start applying to be a vendor at local markets? Can you start doing activities so that you're going to be able to start making sales for your product or service that you're offering? And if you've answered yes to all these questions, then you may be eligible to apply to the program. So if we go back to talking about Screen, which is the provincial online portal. After you've completed your eligibility checklist, the first step to applying to the program is completing an application inquiry. You will complete your profile on Screen with all your information, your contact information and whatnot, and then you will select your service provider that you'd like to apply to. Please make sure to select the service provider to the city or the region that you plan to start to operate your business. So if you're planning to operate in Mississauga, then you're going to select the Mississauga Business Enterprise Center, which is the section of IDEA Mississauga that we facilitate Summer Company program through. Once you've selected and submitted your application inquiry, the service provider will be notified. So now that our intake is officially open in Mississauga, one of our team members will respond to acknowledge your inquiry and provide you with further instructions and information about the application process. Space is limited for all service providers delivering the program throughout Ontario. So in Mississauga, we do have 10 spots available, and we will only be considering businesses planning to operate specifically in Mississauga, whereas other providers may cover multiple towns or cities depending on their catchment area. After completing your initial application inquiry through Screen, we are going to email you a business plan template for your use and other useful information for applying to Summer Company. Your application will need to include the completed business plan, a startup budget, a cash flow statement forecast, and your cash flow statement forecast is going to be filled out directly on the Screen portal. Now, your business plan is going to include a lot of information about the business idea that you're proposing, and as much detail as you can provide is always great. So starting off, your business name. What do you plan to call your business? The executive summary. This is kind of similar to the description that you would find on the back of a book jacket. It's basically summarizing what you can find throughout your business plan. And we typically tend to encourage that it is best to write your executive summary last, although it does come first. And the reason is because once you've completed the rest of your business plan, then you can just summarize each of the important sections into your executive summary. For products and services, you're going to put some information about the product or service that you're planning to sell to customers. And in this section, there's a couple different questions you can ask yourself. Will you be making the product or will you be buying it from someone? Who will your suppliers be? What makes your product or service unique? How does your business different from other industries? What features or advantages will entice your customer to buy from you? And this could be a variety of things. It could be convenience, it could be pricing, it could be your quick service, or it could be that you offer guarantees. Are there any advantages that you have over your competitor? For instance, this could be because it's a newer business, maybe there's a lower startup cost and therefore there's a lower price with your service. It could be that you're able to go to their place of business or their home to offer the service, somewhere where it's convenient for them. Next is the marketing plan. In this section, you're going to talk about how you're going to promote your business. So there's certain descriptive words that you may want to be using. Who are you promoting to? Do you have a target market? Who are your competitors and what sets you apart for them? What is the cost that you'll be charging for your product or services? What type of advertising will you use? Are you going to be building a website? Are you going to be using social media? Will you be at local markets? And for all this marketing, how much is it going to cost? And what return do you anticipate to expect from it? Next will be the operations. This is where you're going to talk about all the aspects you need to actually operate your business. So do you need any permits or licenses? Do you need any computer software programs? Are you considering hiring employees? Are there any risks associated with your business? Often when starting a business, we're super excited and we don't want to think about negative, but it's important to consider what may potentially go wrong. It's important to consider what risks may be involved, because if you think about them in advance, then you can prepare yourself and that help to limit those risks that may come about. The startup budget. In this budget, you're required to list all the startup costs. So it's a good idea to research these costs, get as accurate as possible so that you can really figure out what it's going to cost to start your own business. And then in your startup budget, we recommend that it's about a minimum of $1,500 because this is the initial disbursement of the grant that you'll be receiving for the program. And the intent is that this money goes towards your startup costs. And then finally is your cash flow forecast. So what you're going to do here is you're going to kind of realistically anticipate how much you anticipate to receive in revenues and how much you expect to spend in expenses during the program. So a business plan, it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody. It's a lot of detail and work and research that you're going to do. So that being said, that's why we strongly encourage you to use the Summer Company business plan that we're going to send to all the application inquiries in an email, because all the questions that I just listed there, they're all going to be right there on that business plan to sort of prompt you and help you complete the section by section. So if you are wondering, if there's only limited spots available in Summer Company, then and we tend to get a lot of applications each year, then what are we looking for? So to keep it simple and fair, overall, here's the following of what we are looking for. So first and foremost, the application must be complete. It must be your completed business plan. It must have the startup budget, and it must have the estimated cash flow statement. Other things that we will look at or consider is there a market for the applicant's product or service? Can the business be fully launched this summer, and is it viable during the entire duration of the program? Are the applicant's goals realistic, and are they achievable? And is there anything in the business plan, the startup budget, or the cash flow statement that would put the business at risk of operating this summer? We are here to support you and want to be there to help you succeed, but we do need to be mindful of risks that may be involved, and so we just need to ensure that we mitigate those for you. The next step is the interviews. So this is still part of the application process. So after a careful review of all the completed applications that are submitted, we will have a limited number of applicants who will be invited to participate in interviews. So these interviews will give us an opportunity to learn more about the applicant, to discuss their proposed business plan, as well as continue talking about the goals and requirements of the Summer Company program. Now, an important note to know here is that, again, an interview does not guarantee acceptance into the program. It is merely a conversation to see the right fit, and also it does not guarantee that you will receive the full Summer Company grant. Our practice at IDEA Mississauga is to respectfully contact all contacts to let them know whether or not they have been accepted into the program so that they can make their own plans for moving forward. Those selected to participate in Summer Company will have a few mandatory tasks to complete in order to get started. Once they've been notified of acceptance, we will schedule another meeting to review the microfinance agreement, which will outline the participants' obligations and expectations for participating in the program. This agreement will need to be signed within a short time frame in order to secure your spot within the program. It is a legal agreement with the City of Mississauga, so students under 18 will require a parent or a guardian to sign the agreement. Once the agreement has been signed, the participant will receive their first disbursement of the grant in the amount of $1,500, which will be used to start their business with the necessary startup costs. Because with the necessary startup costs that they have put in their business plan. Each participant will need to collect the receipts, and they will have to be responsible for presenting them to us after 30 days. And these receipts will need to match up with the amounts indicated in the startup budget. A great way for us to connect for this reconciliation is by doing a site visit. So we'll come to the place of business or somewhere where you're showcasing your work or wherever it's convenient to review the spending of the grant. We'll chat about your startup experience to date, and we'll also take some photos and do some media spotlights to help you market your new business. Now, that site visit is definitely not the first or last time we will see you. There is plenty of different training and mentorship provided throughout Summer Company. So what kinds are there? One of the key elements of Summer Company is the training sessions, which are led by subject matter experts. We will hear from some of the best as they speak about vital business building topics, so such as operations, marketing, bookkeeping, customer service, or maybe networking. In advance of being selected, we will be providing a calendar of dates, which will include all these mandatory sessions, which will be held both in person as well as virtual. Training sessions will start around June 1st, and they're going to go until the middle of August. And there'll also be mini projects and assignments along the way, so you can practically apply what you've learned to your business. The other key element of Summer Company is the incredible mentorships that you'll receive. So this gives you a chance to really work and be mentored with the experienced entrepreneurs within our community. So similar to the training, the mentorship will be spread across the duration of the program from June until August, and it's really to support you throughout the program as your business continues to develop along the months. Our mentorship is delivered in both group as well as one-on-one mentorship meetings. And these will allow you an opportunity to either fully engage with the group or to really meet and be matched with the mentor that best suits your needs. All right, so we will talk about program completion in a minute, but Sue, I'm just going to ask if there's anything there that you wanted to add, either about the application process or about the training and mentorship that we just discussed.
I think this is perfect, Nicole. You covered everything.
Great, then I'll keep going.
Okay.
All right, so program completion, what does that look like? Well, by the mid-August, you will have successfully have launched your business, and hopefully you're having a summer to remember. We hope that everyone who participates in Summer Company will have gotten valuable experience and insight into what it means to be an entrepreneur. So now we have to look at some of those wrap-up tasks for the program. There is going to be an exit interview where we'll meet to discuss your time within the program. We're going to do a final budget reconciliation and some other documents that are required by the ministry. And if all the requirements that are listed in the microfinance agreement that we talked about at the very, very beginning of the program, whenever you're first accepted, then what we do is we move on by requesting the final grant disbursement, which can be up to $1,500. And typically you can expect to receive this in September. And finally, we do host a wrap-up celebration and networking event so that you can share all your successes and lessons learned along the way. So with the majority of Summer Company information now having been discussed and knowing that we've got time to answer many questions shortly that the audience may have, I'd like to hand things over to Sue so that she can share some stories of past alumni members who have truly embraced becoming an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, I'd like to say that one thing I wanted to mention, a lot of times students think that if they've started a business, let's say you've been cutting grass during the summer, but you haven't actually registered the business. As long as you haven't registered the business, you can still apply. So these are some of my past Summer Company participants. Just go to the next slide. There we go. So the one thing about Justin, he just loved playing piano. And of course, we all know that in school in grade 4 or 5, a teacher will get up and say, okay, everyone, show and tell, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Justin stood up in front of the class and held up a sign saying, piano teacher. So Justin started his Flying Fingers piano studio in his home. And during the summer, he had 20 students. And what is really remarkable about Justin is he's continued teaching those classes even during his time in school. So very proud of him. He did really well, and actually he was one of our top earners. Next slide. Anna Glavick. Anna makes the most amazing looking pop-up cards. And as you can see from the picture, here are some of hers. She actually inspired me because she reached out to the city of Mississauga and said, I'd like to design a card for you. So she did. She designed a card of the Mississauga landscape, and it was so amazing. And she's so creative. She as well hired her parents to help her because she got so busy. She got so many orders, and she's continued her card business while she's attending university. Next slide. Alexander Barnes started Buddha Bikes and Components, and Alexander took advantage of the fact that COVID made us all go a little bit. You know, we had to get out. So everybody was taking their bikes out of the garage. Problem was, most of the bikes had problems or needed parts. So Alexander found that his business did really well during COVID, and he continued his business on as well. And I think that's something that's remarkable about this program. It's not just Summer Company. You can run your business all year long, but these are just a few of the people. And if anyone has any questions about the participants, I'm happy to hear them. If not, I'm leaving it over to you, Nicole.
We're leaving the questions to the end. So again, please enter those into the chat. Sue, thank you. I love hearing the stories of your past alumni members. I think all three of those are great examples of taking their hobby, their interest, a talent that they have and making a business out of it. Something that, some people don't see how sometimes you can connect the dots, but it's definitely possible. And I think that's where some of the Summer Company participants really shine the most.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, so final thoughts before we get to our question and answer portion of the session today. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. And here are some final thoughts that we have for you. So Summer Company, it truly is a unique and valuable experience for anyone interested in becoming a young entrepreneur. The program is filled with opportunities to expand your knowledge and your network, while also really being supported by a full team by your side. You'll be able to engage with other students just like yourself who are going through the similar experiences as they're starting their business. So that peer-to-peer engagement is also so valuable. So if you're interested in applying for Summer Company, here's what you're going to do next. Go to the ministry website, www.ontario.ca/summercompany, and complete that eligibility checklist. That's your first step. Like Sue mentioned a bit earlier, you need to be able to confirm your eligibility and pass that before you'll be able to move on to any other stages. Next, you're going to look to submit your application inquiry to the small business center of your area. So again, if you're starting a business in Mississauga, please do apply to the Mississauga Business Enterprise Center. If you are so shortly after that, you will receive an email with further instructions, and from us, we will be providing you with the Summer Company business plan template. I strongly suggest that you wait before starting to work on that. I mean, definitely start doing your research, start developing your idea, but wait to get that business plan. It really is helpful as it's going to ask and prompt you with many of those questions that we mentioned earlier on in this session. Also, I should mention that for Idea Mississauga, we do only accept applications that either use the Summer Company template that we provide or the one that is found on the ministry website. Finally, once you've submitted your application, once your application is done, you're going to submit it online through the Screen web portal by the province, and this is going to include your business plan, your startup budget, and your cash flow statement. And my final reminder is applications for submitting a deadline for Mississauga are Sunday, April 23rd at midnight. So Sunday, April 23rd at 11:59 p.m. That is the last date to submit your completed application with the business plan, startup budget, and cash flow statement. So that's it for us. Thank you very much again for joining us. If you would like to find out more information, then you can check out our website at ideamississauga.ca. Plus, you're welcome to contact myself or anybody else on the team who, if in case you have any additional questions or require any type of support for a small business or entrepreneurship. My name is Nicole Barker. My email address is nicole.barker@mississauga.ca. And at this time, I am going to stop sharing my screen and we will look to see if there's any questions in the chat.